Alright guys, no breaks, no nothing. Let's get right into the next one. M19 versus Effect is now the next game of the day. And well, M19, they won their first series of the day versus where did I already forget that? They won against Double Dimension, I believe. They did win, right? I'm not being foolish on it. I believe so. Well, actually, no, they lost to them. They lost to Double Dimension.
Radiant team pick.
Or am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy. But either way, let's see what they do against Effect. Another team that head to head, they are pretty even, so I'm not really too sure which direction I would be leading. Both ways can happen, honestly. So we'll see if the two teams have anything special prepared for each other. Looks like Venomance and Urshik is going to be the bans from M19, not letting the Veno Cancer or the offlane Shiga come through this game. They picked the Nyx first pick, and the fact that took away the puck as well as a Clockwork. So they could go for something like the Sand King. We have seen these kind of trade-offs happening with the position 4 heroes being Nyx, Clockwork, Night Stalker, and Sand King. That's been the 4 heroes who's always, in every single series actually, either banned or picked. So I guess it will continue this way, and Sand King is going to be the pick that they go for. Night Stalker still being in the pool, but since both teams most likely have their offlane hero of choice right now, I'm not sure Night Stalker is going to be picked. Or at least if you want to pick Night Stalker, you will probably pick it a little bit late in the draft, because if you pick it now, you know that, if you pick it on the side of Effect, you know it's either Sand King offlane, Night Stalker 4, or the other way around. And same thing for M19, so it's like a surprise 5th pick, perhaps, that you want Night Stalker. It's pretty decent against both the Nyx as well as the Sand King, though, in terms of the vision gain. The silence is great. The tankiness of the Night Stalker is always useful, but it depends on the team. It's not everyone who likes to play with Night Stalker, and if you were to play with Night Stalker, you're probably going to secure yourself something like a Lycan or something as well on top of that, just to make sure you have that insane, just to make sure you have the insane value of the nighttime. We'll see. Juggernaut gets picked up second by the side of Effect, and Darkseid is going to be the pickup from M19. So despite the Juggernaut being picked up, they still go for the Darkseid, and we saw this the other game they played as well. The vac into Impales being very, very good for the side of M19. They played very well in that situation. They got a lot of nice combos off, and I'm sure they're going to be able to pull the same kind of combos this time around. The magic immunity of the Juggernaut is going to be a little bit annoying to play around, but the thing about the Juggernaut is it's going to be Jug versus Darkseid, because you would never really there's never a reason to put another hero in that lane unless you feel like you can win the mid lane with a Jug, and that's pretty rare in this meta, so you kind of know already now what to expect as M19. And they can pick core heroes who's good against Jug. You can pick your Ursas, you can pick your they can pick the Lone Druid, which they love to play around with as well. I know that LTW is a big fan of playing Ursa. So that's a lot of ways to go about this. Bristleback gets banned out. One of the more annoying pop stomp heroes, and if you can get a good lane off with Bristleback, then that hero can just alone make the game impossible to play. Ursa gets removed from the side of Effect. As I said, one of the heroes that is always very good against Jug.
10 seconds remaining.
Especially when you have Darkseid. Like, without Darkseid, Ursa can, at some point you can kite the Ursa with the Juggernaut. You can always just play around your Diffusal Blade, just try to zone him out until his ultimate is over, and then kill him. Make the supports be the heroes that secure the kills on the Ursa, and then you only use Omnislash when you know you can kill him. But with an Iron Shell, Surge, and Mechanism backup from the Darkseid, the Ursa becomes very scary. The Bloodseeker gets banned out by M19. I know that Effect they do play a lot of Bloodseeker. Madden, he's one of the people who would tend to pick up Bloodseeker more than others in the safe lane, especially against the Darkseid, because that is a lane that is actually very, very good for the Bloodseeker. He can last hit against the Iron Shell easily once he has a few levels, and if you can force the Darkseer to have a rough lane by just having one hero
remaining.
against him who's good against him, then the supports can do so much work on the map, and you have decent roaming supports inside of Effect. You have the Sand King and the Disruptor. The Disruptor maybe not the best, but the Sand King is definitely a hero that loves to be around on the map. So I like the Bloodseeker ban. Warlock gets picked up by M19, even more wombo combo potential. The one way to also answer against the Juggernaut, of course, is right now, before the Warlock pick, they had no way of dealing with the Jug once he's spinning. So, you know, the Golem can at least do some work. It's always nice, especially because the way you usually do it is he goes for spin, and then you rock him just as the spin is about to expire, so you can get a follow-up stun instantly with like the Nyx Impale or something like that, and then the Juggernaut will be killed very easily, without the Jug being able to go for a like spin into Omnislash play.
Abyssal Underlord.
Dire team pick.
All right. New hero, guys. Abyssal Underlord. Okay. Good hero to defend. It's a mech carrier, so
remaining.
fighting up against teamfight lineups like Warlock, Darkseer, Nick, like this is they kind of rely on this wombo combo from M19. So being able to just tank through it by reducing the physical damage with the atrophy aura, and also using the firestorm to clear the golem to do a lot of damage, the pit of malice to control everyone. Making sure the surge is not as annoying either because they get rooted, and well, it's a mech carrier, basically. So between the mechanism from the Underlord and the healing ward from the Jug, they can tank through a lot of damage.
5 seconds remaining.
I like it. The only issue with Underlord is how are you gonna win? How are you gonna get a good lane with Underlord? Because you can't just pick Underlord and then be like, okay, this hero can get whatever farm he wants to, because his early levels in terms of jungling is fairly weak. And his laning presence is also fairly weak if he doesn't get help. So I imagine we will most likely see a Underlord dual lane with the Sand King. And it's still going to be difficult because of the Razor being picked up by M19. They try to go for this cheeky safe lane pick that just makes every offlaner's life miserable. But they can still make it work. You know, Warlock plus Razor versus Underlord plus Sand King is probably a very, very even matchup. Can go both ways for sure. It can go both ways. And let's see, Lina gets banned out by the side of Effect and by the side of M19. Both teams, they need their mid laner, I imagine. So Lina gets banned. Effect, what hero do they need? I still kind of feel like a Puck is very good for Effect. Maybe not the best against Nyx. Nyx is kind of awkward to play Puck against, but it's good against Surge heroes because they can't abuse that movement speed anymore. Lots of magical burst damage. It's a hero that can avoid all of these, like, you know, vacuum combos, golem plays from the Warlock, and all of this good stuff. So that is an option. They decide to ban the Draconite, and that might mean they will take the Puck for themselves. Or they could go for maybe something like a Queen of Pain as well. DK is fairly good against Queen of Pain after a few levels.
10 seconds remaining.
That is another option.
Queen of
And they go for the Queen of Pain.
Radiant team pick.
Effect in the meantime. Puck is still an option. Old school matchup, Queen of Pain versus Puck. Also a matchup that can go both ways very easily. That usually depends on the support rotations, who wins that matchup. Or just, you know, small outplays, but it's not that often we see that happening. So yeah, Puck.
Reserve time.
The only issue with Puck is that you put the Juggernaut in a position where he's the only damage dealer, and that's usually not what you want against Razor, because if he only has to make if there's only one person who does directly damage in the game, then you just have to make sure you put a static link on him, and then he can't do anything in the fight. But if you have two, then at least Effect will always know that they can do something. Like they can just focus on dodging the static link with one, and then just doing as much damage as possible with the other one. And that's why they go for the Shadow Fiend. Not necessarily the funniest of all matchups in the mid lane, but if the Sand King helps him out the first couple of levels, he's going to be fine. Afanini, he loves playing Shadow Fiend as well. It's one of his most played heroes, I believe, so I'm sure he's going to be fine with it. We saw a Shadow Fiend matchup earlier as well, which was like a super greedy lineup with Legion Commander, Shadow Fiend, Lycan, and the Shadow Fiend completely dumpstered the lane. So, well, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna work out, but it will be difficult. It is definitely Shadow Fiend that is supposedly the weaker laner.
Prepare for battle.
Alrighty, let's get on with it, guys. We're in the game. We're doing the thing. Bada boom.
30 seconds to battle.
Alright. So, nothing too special happening so far. A little bit of lane warding. Some good vision in the mid lane for both teams. And it looked like the other ward got the question mark. Or am I blind? Yeah, both teams. Yeah, the dire ward in the top.
The battle begins.
Either way. No, it didn't. No one else. Lied. Bottom. Nick still has one wall on him. He's blocking the mid lane. He's going to be starting up in the mid lane together with the Sand King. So both teams will have that roaming here in the mid lane, just trying to make sure the mid laner gets as much as as much as possible, you know. Like a good block for both sides. Very even, you know. Straight in the middle, so no one is really getting an edge in this one. And Misha will go and will get a 2-man impale off. Very nicely done there. Sand King in the meantime will try and focus on Nyx. In the meantime, Misha will go in and hit a little bit onto the Shadow Fiend. So both roaming supports, they know that they have to try and focus as much as possible on the enemy mid laner rather than trying to focus on the supports, because, well, if you turn away the mid laner, then you know you're forced to use salve, then you can just walk away, and then the mid laner on your side will already have won the matchup. But KeyArena, he only has one more tank available. The Nyx has the better base region as well. So I guess this is just a situation where the Sand King knows he's not going to be able to win this if he keeps it up, so he will maybe try and get a kill on bottom lane instead. ILTW is going to be in an aggressive situation, laning against the Juggernaut. They actually decide to put the Razor with the Warlock against the Juggernaut, and then they have the one-on-one with Funnick on the Darkseer versus the Nongrata Underlord. That's fairly interesting to go for this kind of lane setup, but I guess Razor versus Juggernaut is definitely Razor fail. You just stab a little bit of damage from him and then you can last at everything. And right now he's also leading the CS table, so it's a good idea. And, well, Iron Shells versus the Underlord. Underlord is not a hero that deals well with Iron Shells at all. At a point he can, like, if he gets an Iron Talon, for example, he can definitely burst through them. He can just Firestorm, Iron Talon, the Iron Shell creeps, and then hit it like two times, then it dies. But before that point, it's like any other melee hero. No one likes to be against the Iron Shells at all. That's the LTW. Well, a lot of damage being done. Madden doing a lot of work on him. Still has the spin available, and first blood is going to be drawn in the mid lane area. Nyx as well as Muriel and Misha will get a kill on the Disruptor. In the meantime, Nyx barely gets himself away from Aphaninia there in the mid lane. King R. A little bit careful, but I guess none of these supports have any more mana available, so there's not really any hopes of anything happening on the side of M19. Seek will try and move himself a little bit away as well. Maybe stack a little bit for the Shadow Fiend as the bottom lane, as long as it's just one-on-one, I'm sure the Juggernaut is much better off just getting levels rather than having a support trying to help him out. Both the Race as well as the Jug is at least getting a little bit, but as you can see, the Jug, he's suffering lasted. Not having that Quelling Blade means that even last hitting on the towers is difficult, and he's being sapped very, very heavily right now. 73 damage being sapped away, so he's not going to be able to last at anything for the next 30 seconds time. And in the meantime, Underlord, okay, that was pretty funny. Top lane, the Darkseid killed the Underlord and the Underlord killed the Darkseid, but it looks like the Darkseid was the one who got the experience from that, so he's going to be a little bit happy with it. Always a little bit fancy when two people kill each other, but I guess both Funnig and Non-Grata, they just want to kill each other. And this is the point where the Firestorm is actually starting to be very, very annoying. The right-click damage from the Non-Grata is going to be very big because of stacks from the Atrophy Aura, so Funnig is not going to be able to have as easy a time to pressure him. The Soul Ring is going to be available from Non-Grata as well, so this is where he can start putting back the pressure on the Funnig. And it looks like that's going to be the play.
Nothing for you.
Looks like Razor's going to be a little bit in danger, and indeed he is going to be taken down. LTW drops down to the ground. The sap does come out on the Juggernaut, so he's not going to be able to last at anything, but at least he gets a kill on the Razor. In the meantime, the Underlord dropped down in the top lane, maybe being a little bit too greedy up here, but yeah, Funnig claims a kill on him. Iron Shell is very strong.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Mid lane, looks like Misha is setting up a kill onto Aphaninia. He's coming in, he is hidden in the fog right now. Nyx is level 4 only right now, so it's maybe not the easiest kill to get in a wall, but let's see if they try for it. They go in, they get the kill off, and yeah, well, Queen of Pain, he already got hit by one of those pesky races, so he doesn't want to go in close and man fight the Shadow Fiend. The Shadow Fiend is going to be level 6 right now, so he's having a good time in the mid lane, almost doubling the CS of the Queen of Pain, so far so good. The Shadow Fiend matchup is apparently always the better one in this CIS qualifiers. The Shadow Fiend has always had a very, very good lane. We've only seen it twice now, but you know, both times it's been a surprisingly good lane for him. Maybe everyone is just so used to playing Shadow Fiend that, well, you know, they know exactly what to do. Who knows? Unload Darkseid. Fight of the Ancients, fight of who can get the mechanism the fastest. It looks like the Darkseid is going to make a move into the mid lane, try to make that classic wrap around with the Darkseid. This is what they did in the last game as well, actually, where they smoked up at around 5-6 minutes, and then they tried to go in the mid lane with the Iron Shells and secure themselves a kill, but I mean, they're not going to be able to get an easy kill here. The Impale will miss, but with the Iron Shell, they're still going to be able to just run him down and get the kill regardless. Underlord is going to be able to use his ultimate to get into the mid lane. 2-man bar coming up from the tank here, but the Iron Shell is doing a lot of damage. The Darkseid will be taken down. Looks like they will get the tank kill as well. Misha will not survive this one. Seek burning down, deny him, hit him in the face, and he will be hit in the face as the Underlord is going to be able to deny him. So it will be a 2-for-2 trade-off in the mid lane. And, well, both teams used 4 heroes, but I guess M19 is the small victors in that situation because one person had to get denied, and they lost the Shadow Fiend, which is always a big thing. Alright. Well, Madden is still a little bit behind of the Razor, but looks like he's finally starting to get a little bit more in the lane, as there's only so much the Razor can do in terms of shutting down the net worth gain of Madden. I mean, right now he can last it on the tower. The Quelling Blade gives him a static amount of damage, so it's not as easy to use that static link to stop him from CSing. So at the moment, you're in the position where ILTW is like, well, I'm a Razor in the off lane. I kind of want to go back to my safe lane just to have a secure lane to farm. But I don't want to stop putting pressure on the Juggernaut, so it's whether or not the pressure you put in the Jug is worth it. A little bit of sap damage. Aphaninia in the mid lane will be picked off by Nyx and Misha. Nice little pick off. Alright, King a little bit in danger. Plasma Fuel is available. Misha's coming into the side of the void. Keep limits back on the RTW. The duel has been available from the Juggernaut to get the power as well. The upheaval comes out from the Warlock, maybe enough to keep him alive. Nice 2-man impale from Misha, keeping RTW safe from everyone who wants to harm him. He will be able to use that Shrine, and Man is going to be taken down as Nyx comes in with a rotation. What a beautiful upheaval, beautiful impale as well from the side of M19, as keeping the Razor alive. I mean, they would have won the fight regardless, but keeping the Razor alive on top of everything else, that's insane. 2 kills, they keep him alive, everything is good to go. They killed the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane, they killed Aphaninia in the mid lane a little while before that, so kind of just seems like M19 is out maneuvering effect right now, and it's slowly adding up to something. Mid lane they're going in again. Aphaninia is going to be hit by the Shadow Strike. Looks like Muriel is going to come in with that upheaval with the Warlock. He's going to slow down the Shadow Fiend a little bit. Oh, he walks back and forward. He's not going to be able to have a good time with all of that slow from the upheaval. Sonic Wave comes out, doesn't actually get down to Kinado. Kinado tried to go in and save the Shadow Fiend, but this is looking a little bit grim. To get a nice root off with that Pit of Malice. Looks like Phonic is trying to go the other way, but no, he's not going to be able to survive. Nangrada's burn with the Firestorm is going to be enough to kill him. So they get 2 kills in return, and they lose. Was it 2 kills? It was 2 kills, right? Oh my, no, it was 1 kill. They got the Darkseer kill, but they lost the Shadow Fiend. So overall, still worth the fight for M19. Still worth the chase. I mean, a Darkseer is just a Darkseer, right? And let's take a look at the net worth right now. The Underlord, he's been the one punishing every single move on the side of effect. So he's actually the most farmed hero in the game right now. He will get his mechanism up at around 10 minutes, which is an amazing time considering having Soul Ring and Arcane Boost on top of that. So he's having a good time. The tanking is getting a little bit of farm priority in the bottom lane. The Juggernaut trying to switch lanes. He's trying to dodge out the Razor, but he's not having too much luck doing so, as the Razor will follow him wherever he walks. So he will just jungle for a bit. Disruptor ends up being picked up in the side line by Phonic. For Seek, he's trying so hard. So hard, man.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It looks like that's an interesting first item on the Darkseer, going for the Hood of Defiance. But I guess the way Phonic has been playing this Darkseer this game is pretty much just running at the enemy and trying to force fights, trying to be the tank for the team. So having an early pipe is not a bad idea, and it looks like he's going to be working the pipe before going for the mech. Perhaps no, he's going back for the mech. So both pipe and mech is what Phonic loves to build on this Darkseer. The Wraith in the top lane ends up being picked off. With Madden, got that kill with Nangrada. Once again, the Underlord just always finishing off people. The hero is definitely paying off very, very well this game. He's level 10, he's having lots of farm, the mechanism is complete, he has 6 people on top of that, so it's off to a pretty decent start. Midtown ends up dropping down, he does not get the deny on it. The Nyx with the double damage is going to be able to secure it. He does have his veil completed now on the Queen of Pain. And let's see where he's going to be moving next. Looks like they want to secure the bottom tier 1 tower. They will get that as well. And that's 2 towers. Now in a couple of seconds, they claim on the side of M19 mid lane. Misha will be covering 6, is trying to go for Fanini, and he will be burned down to a pulp instantly. That was a lot of first time against Steel. We'll see the Cleanup is maybe a little bit dangerous. He's going to be controlled nicely, but if Malice comes out, they get the bar strike to follow everything up with, and the Cleanup Pain will drop. Nick is not going to be living to tell the tales. So again, on point with the punishment. They still lose the Shadow Fiend, but at this point it's like, well, the Shadow Fiend is having a rough game, so if they lose the Shadow Fiend and get the kill on the Queen of Pain as a turnaround, even if they commit a lot of heroes, I think it's still worth it. They just need to make sure that they don't fall behind in terms of AFK farming. The Juggernaut was hitting creeps the whole time. He does have, well, not a lot of farm, let's be honest. I mean, just basic items, a lot of small items, trying to get his Manticore as the next big one, but gotta start somewhere, I suppose. The Underlord is going to start farming the stacks because he's like, yeah, the Shadow Fiend does need them. And he's also going to go for Pipe this game, so it will be Pipe plus Mech versus Pipe plus Mech on the two offlane heroes. Very interesting, but looks like the Darkseer is actually the one who's going to get to that area first because he doesn't have Arcanes yet. I'm not sure what I think about not having Arcanes yet, but I mean, an early Pep might, what's it called? Hood of Defiance and Mech at 13 minutes that's a tanky Darkseer, right? So I guess he just wants to try and abuse his hero as much as possible in terms of taking early towers and being the frontline hero for the team. So that's why he's greeting the Arcane Boots so heavily. Well, he can still use his spells. As long as he doesn't use his ultimate anyways, then he's not that mana intensive. He just has to use an Iron Shield once in a while to continue farming. But it's kind of a weird build.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Kind of a weird build. Let's see. Razor as well, what does he have? He's trying to go for a Dragonlance build. Dragonlance Sunshine Yasha is going to be his items of choice. He's almost level 10. We'll get his level 10 now. Top lane, we have Funny in position to do something about Madden pushing this lane. Asik and Afanin is in here as well. We do have KeyArena as well. Misha is going to be scouting out everything that's happening. We do have the Underlord TPing in as well. Looks like there's going to be a big fight happening and Pearl comes out. But that's just going to be a little bit of chip damage onto Asik. They do have the glimpse to be able to get the vision. They're going to glimpse him back. Like Travis comes out, the Golem comes out, vacuum into the Sonic Wave. This is looking big, but the next side with the new person taken down, and they still have the heals coming up from the side of the tech. Umbrella alive will finally be dropping down after Minions going to be taking down next out. So we got that sub-6 with the static blink off. KeyArena missing the bar strike onto Muriel. That might be painful. KeyArena is going to be able to get out of this one. No, he will not, as he will not be able to get a TP off, and that's 4 dead inside of Effect, only 2 on the side of M19 as they salvage the fight with a very nice vacuum Golem combo. Most of the damage coming out from the Sonic Wave. I don't think, well, the Warlock doesn't have any points in Fatal Bonds. Like, just imagine if you had Fatal Bonds in that situation. And I know that, you know, upheaval is something that some people like to build up, and it's definitely very, very good this game. Slowing down the Shadow Fiend, for example, making sure he can't dodge people, and slowing down the Sanking. But at the point where you have Fatal Bonds, if you had like a max Fatal Bonds in that fight, that would have been much more painful for Effect for sure.
Mine.
Let's see the items though. Arcane's Urn on the Nyx Assassin, classic. And Muriel on the Warlock might be killed. He does not have Omni Slash. Nice 2-mana kill coming out though. Which in the meantime tries to go on with KeyArena. He's going to get that Spike Carapace off. KeyArena in the meantime gets nice 2-mana bar strike off, but he's still going to be taken down by this Iron Shield from Funny. Maybe tries to go for something else. Something gets picked off in the background by LTW on the Razor. Do they want that kill this badly? Looks like they're going to commit for the kill. He's half HP. They go in further, and Grad's going to be impaled up. He goes to the mechanism, but it's only going to keep him alive for so long. And eventually he will die. So a double kill for LTW. 3 dead inside of Effect, and M19, they're just running down Effect, and they don't care about anything. They are showing that they didn't just win the qualifiers of the CIS region for nothing. They are definitely proving that they deserve to be there. They deserve to be here. This is the second game that they might be winning. And that is, well, the second game they play and second game they might win, I believe, so. They're showing up big. Top lane and kill. This is not happening. Trying to go for his ultimate. Will get locked. A little bit of damage. Razor gets on the presence of it. 15 back before LTW will be picked up with the spin from Madden, and that's a nice turnaround kill. Misha tries to get himself away in the meantime, will be able to survive. So at least they get that 1 kill on the Razor, punishing the fact that they tried to use that few heroes to get a kill here. Sanky in the top lane, tries to go for the creep wave. In the meantime though, KeyArena, why are you so goddamn greedy? That's Sonic Wave gets forced out. I mean, you know, you gotta use whatever spells you have to get the kill. They didn't have the golem available, so they just use what they can to get the kill. But that was greedy. I mean, he saw the next assassin go invisible and walk the other way. So just going for the next creep wave and using Sandstorm, that's maybe a little bit too much. Maybe a little bit too much. A tad too much.
I'll take your tribute.
Well, let's see. Net worth wise, we have M19. 5k lead right now, 4k lead. They go for another smoke. They're trying to continue putting pressure onto this Effect lineup, and well, as long as Effect can try and play around the Underlord, then they do have, well, they have even odds of taking fights. I mean, the Shadow Fiend and the Jug both need to get some bigger items before they can take some big 5-on-5 engagements, but they can still take small skirmishes if they don't get picked off like they did just now with Asik dropping down again on the Disruptor. That is going to be a setup for the bottom tier tower to drop down. In the meantime, Aphaninis just, he doesn't even want to push the mid lane. He doesn't really know what's going on. They are showing 4 heroes, so at this point, this is like the safest point where you could start pushing towers in the other lanes. But just not seeing the Nyx and not seeing the Warlock is already scary enough, because the Nyx assassin could be vendetted up, running around, trying to set up for another kill. Warlock could be sitting in the tree line, trying to use a golem as well, so it's so difficult to make these plays happen. Bottom lane looks like they will TP and try and go on Sonic here. He's going to keep himself alive. There's a bit of fan fail, but there's another mech as well. Will survive for now. Golem comes out, Sonic survives, gets the mechanism to off on his side. He's going to bring him down very low, but it's not going to be enough to kill him. Sonic will survive. The Disruptor ends up being picked up in the meantime. Misha tries to go in after the Juggernaut, but he's not going to be able to get close enough. His team is not following him. In the meantime, Nyx does get a double kill in the backline to get a nice impale off onto the Shadow Fiend, and Aphaninia is going to be the 4th one dropping. Well played, gets called by Nyx. They get a double kill for LTW, and the only one surviving is going to be the Juggernaut, who, I mean, he even used his spells. He used everything he had trying to get that kill, and now Nyx is going to go right on to Madden, trying to get that kill on him as well. He's not going to be done yet. He doesn't care. He's going to go for the kill, and he will get the kill with the Sonic Wave and the Wreck. Like, the style points is real. As Nyx, he just takes what he wants. Some might call that greedy. Nyx says, I got a kill. I wanted to kill, I got killed. Alright, let's see. Darkseer. The pipe is going to be completed now, so Funnick is going to be that big tanky frontline, and he's been doing that so far. I mean, just think about what happened the last fight. They brought him in, they used the Firestorm, they used the Static Storm, they used the Omnislash on him, and he survived through it all, healed his team a little bit, and still ended up doing work afterwards in the fight. Whereas the Jug, it's like he used everything on him, and well, once you have used your Omnislash, before you have like big right-click items like the Diffusal Blade, you don't want to continue fighting. Like, you want to just get the hell out of there if you haven't already won the fight. Shadow Fiend, still no BKB, not even close to it, so he has a long way to go before he's going to be ready to fight KeyArena, very far away from his blink as well. So it's getting to the point where you kind of fear what Effect is going to be able to do, because they can't really make any big 5-man smoke moves before they have blink on the Sand King, so and the BKB on Aphaninia, so they need to try and wait. Oh, vacuum wall into Impale. That is a big one from the side of M19. They just go in and they set up with that wombo combo. The Underlord as well. The Shadow Fiend did not know what was coming for them. Madden did get his spin off in time, but GG gets called as KeyArena. He says this is enough murder. Fall dead on the side of Effect. Holy damn. Well, there's only so much pain you can take, I guess. KeyArena decided that, okay guys, we're getting stomped. This is painful. And M19, I mean, I said it in the draft as well, like, we saw it the first time where they pulled off the Nyx plus Darkseer, and they play so well around that. The vacuum into Impales every single time, just hitting on point. And the only reason they didn't get the Jug there as well was obviously because he reacted with a spin, but everyone